Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. This entire year, even well before XRP popped, I've been insisting that XRP is in a way more powerful position than most people in crypto recognize. Now, maybe most of you listening have been well aware and right there with me that whole time. That wouldn't surprise me because you were paying attention. But most people, frankly, I don't think they were quite in the know. And even after this most recent popper, XRP rocketed impressively over 450% up to $2.90 or so. I was still insisting, even after it pulled back a bit from them, and it has it multiple times over the last few weeks, XRP is still sitting pretty. It's in a position of strength. And it continues to perform in a way that you don't normally see. If you've been an XRP holder for a few years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The strength here is uncharacteristic in most times, but there's historic precedent for it. So it's not entirely uncharacteristic of XRP. It's just that you don't normally see it. But this is feeling a lot like 2017. So that's why this headline here caught my attention. It's from crypto media outlet You Today. Here's why XRP is stronger than you think. And I'm not going to read the article. I just kind of want to make a point about this. I'm not the only one that sees this. And I'm probably preaching to the choir here. But they recognize here, yeah, XRP, it's showing uncharacteristic strength especially compared to many other coins. And this analyst here that wrote this article, Arman, he's saying that he thinks in short order there's a really good chance XRP is going to be rocketing above $3. And this was published today, after the ridiculous volatility to the downside that has absolutely terrified all sorts of market participants. But I want to focus most of the video on talking about that, what's happening to the broader market and XRP specifically. But here again today, despite the negative volatility, XRP has been incredibly impressive. You'll see exactly what I mean, but man, it bounced off the lows today very, very quickly. And it went back to a key support level. And that's where it's sitting right now. So I'm not promising what's going to happen in the short term. I'm just noting what's happened to this point. And sure, if the market tanks further, especially Bitcoin tanks way further, yeah, then it's possible XRP goes down with it. But either way, look at where we're sitting. It was at 49 cents just 6 weeks ago. It's insane here. And I think the best is yet to come, based on historic precedent. And that's also, frankly, what every XRP chart analyst that I follow thinks, with maybe like one exception. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 3:20 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone. It's Friday, December 20th, 2024. XRP is $2.22. And if you were sleeping this morning, maybe you missed it, but XRP did plummet with the rest of the market down to $1.97, but it wasn't there for long. Quickly rebounded up to $2.29 and a hair below that right now. As for Bitcoin, it's at $95,923. It plummeted as low as $92,326. So it took the whole market down. And then kind of rebounded up to, what's the upper limit? So it's close to $98,000. I got close to $98,000 again. And a little bit lower than that at this moment. But let me flip back and forth between the XRP and Bitcoin charts. These are both 24-hour charts, and you will see they are the same damn chart. So if you're worried about XRP, please know that this move down for XRP has nothing to do with fundamentals, and it absolutely, in and of itself, is not an indicator that XRP will not hit a new all-time high. That's nonsense. That's not how any of this works. The market, in moments like this where there's tremendous volatility to the downside and people are getting liquidated, you see very frequently tons of charts for different coins that look pretty much exactly the same. Very, very close to being exactly the same. But then, of course, when alt season really gets hot, then you'll have coins randomly popping off here and there. All of this is very normal. This is nothing to be afraid of here. Here is a post from Julian Biddle. Now, Julian is the head of macro research at Global Macro Investor. That's Raoul Paul's organization that he started. And I think these people are insightful, very data-driven, and I appreciate what they do. And I wanted to highlight here, he's talking about the stock market, specifically the S&P 500. And the reason I'm highlighting this, and then everything else is exclusively crypto and number of perspectives about XRP specifically, it's because the stock market, broadly speaking, does move in tandem with the crypto markets. And so it's not just crypto that's bleeding, it's just that crypto's bleeding more because it's more volatile. And it's easier to sway the market. And people are more of a frenzy when it comes to crypto. But here's what Julian had to say. Well, and by the way, this was this morning, 10:23 a.m. Central Time. Well, that escalated quickly. The S&P 500 is now the most oversold it's been since September 2022, with a staggering 36% of stocks trading with an RSI, Relative Strength Index, below 30. You know what they say, right? Buy when others are fearful. That's how I'm seeing it, anyway. And so, look, I will not be surprised if the stock market, and well, we're specifically talking about the S&P 500 here, which is a good snapshot of what's going on. I will not be surprised to see it continue on to the upside. Not in the least. Here's a post from chart analyst Neste. He writes, "We haven't been this oversold since $59,000. And he's talking about Bitcoin. He says, "It's a bull market. You know what to do." So S&P 500 oversold, Bitcoin oversold, all happening at exactly the same time. And why? It's because the humans that invest in the stock market and crypto asset class, they're all humans with the same type of human DNA. And if they're investing further out, especially into small caps, they're taking on risk on assets. And even if you're talking about just Bitcoin, which is perceived by the market, broadly speaking, as safer, that's debatable, but that's how the market tends to perceive it. That's still considered a risk on asset. Bitcoin absolutely is. So it's not surprising to see all this move in tandem. So if the stock market's going to keep moving to the upside, don't be surprised if crypto is. And I don't think this party's over yet. Here's a post from chart analyst Stock Money Lizards. And this is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So he wrote #altcoins. And by the way, this is from this morning after the recent flush. He said, "This flush continued way below the first support zone. Now, total 2 are back," and that's the chart on the screen for anybody that's new to crypto. You might not be familiar with this. It's the name of the chart. It's the everything excluding Bitcoin. It's called total 2. So he says, "Now total 2 are back in the first support range, forming a reversal doji/hammer. Watch out for daily close. If A, we can close in the upper blue box, and B, the candlestick is confirmed at close, we might indeed see a very quick reversal." Well, I'll say this, it certainly popped out of the bottom real quick, but as far as a massive move, a true reversal to the upside, waiting to see if that actually happens, but he thinks that's potentially in the cards at least. But here you'll see, I've tons of examples, and I highlighted, I'm highlighting, I don't know, several or so in this video, all sorts of analysts noting, okay, so we had this notable drop that scared the hell out of all sorts of market participants, but it's actually mostly just back tests occurring. And so here is a post from chart analyst Mustache, #altcoins. The altcoin season index retests its breakout with this correction. And so retests happen all the time. Ranges that used to be resistance, you break through them, and then you go back down to test them and make sure there's support. It happens all the time. So we need to see them hold, or else, that's why I said a few minutes ago, I acknowledge the market could go lower, but even if it does, this type of volatility is still normal. But there's a reasonable chance, according to all sorts of analysts, that we actually may have seen the worst. Here's a post from ChartingGuy. It says, "Just skimmed through altcoin charts. They're all just back testing key levels, making higher lows, all in their wave 2 of 3 or 4 of 3. Nothing has changed. Still absurdly bullish, and nobody prepared for what's coming." Yeah, so again, and this is what I keep seeing from tons of analysts. Yeah, so they went back to the levels that you'd expect them to see, pretty much all of them. Here's a post from chart analyst Dom, and he's talking about the entire crypto asset class here, the total chart. "Total just backtested previous all-time high." Well, wouldn't you know it? Another analyst highlighting a backtest occurred. That's because that's what's happened here. This is not something to be fearful of. He says, "Did we just do exactly what we needed to before turbo everything Q1 next year? The total crypto market cap just backtested its previous all-time high of last cycle. The exact setup that triggered the mania phase of 2021. Look at the screen here, folks. Last cycle, this cycle, same thing happened. How about that? Is anybody surprised? Look, history, it doesn't literally repeat, but it rhymes with itself. Because humans are biological robots, and on the whole, we tend to have the same tendencies over and over and over again. So yes, you on an individual level, you can absolutely change. You can go against the grain. And, it's a good idea to not behave like the typical lemming retail speculator. So thumbs up if you're doing that. Good for you. But on the whole, our species is going to keep kind of doing the same crap over and over again. And there's always new people getting older, investing for the first time, having to learn the same lessons that people who are older already learned. So yes, it's not surprising that this continues to happen, even though we have over 100 years worth of data in the stock market to teach you, yeah, don't behave like this. And even though we have about 16 years worth of cryptocurrency market activity to say, yeah, don't act like this, people gonna people. People gonna people, all right? You can't take the nature of humans out of the humans. Nor would I want to. Like, I'm counting on people to continue acting like people as part of my investment strategy. I need them to do this, and then I act differently, which is to say, I buy stuff and then I just hold and I don't emotionally respond. And that's how you win. It's that simple. That's why I don't have a course to sell you. There's no course to sell you. Just don't be an idiot. It's all good. You just control your emotions. Everything's gonna be fine. This asset class is gonna be way bigger in the future. You're early. You're definitely still early. Here's another post from Dbot XRP. He says, just zoom out for a second. This is the dip. It's still a dip for ants. Always makes me think of Zoolander. I love that joke. Anyway, XRP has held up incredibly well and is hard to say this isn't going higher. Go check other alts for comfort. And so, that, by the way, that's what ChartingGuy just did, as I highlighted. He checked tons of alts and he's like, yeah, they're all just backtesting. No big deal. Doesn't mean it can't go lower, but this is not something, this is normal. All of this is normal. There's nothing wacky here is what I'm saying. Nothing wacky. All very normal stuff. It's just scary to people, but it's normal. It just is. Here's another post from Dom. XRP does not like spending time below $2.20. Look how fast it has got bought back up each time. All eyes in the short term should be on holding $2.20 and closing the daily and preferably weekly candle above it. It's a great spot if so. And that really is something. I mean, look at these dips. I mean, it looks dramatic, but man, it just pops out of there quickly, doesn't it? And look at the one back on, I guess this was the 10th. Remember this one? I had practically forgotten about this one until I guess yesterday when we started dropping notably again, and then I thought about it again this morning. But that's how quickly these things get out of my mind. At least it's like, and this one's, you're gonna forget about this one too. Fast forward a month, we'll have forgotten about all this. This is not something to freak out about. But look, it happened there, and then bam, back up. Then it went down again, bam, back up. And it happened because of the rest of the market, by the way. Again, just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with XRP. Here's a post from chart analyst Tony Severino, and I'm going to read what he wrote here, and I'll just note that he referenced something called Slice, which I had never heard of, so I looked it up. And it turns out Slice is a social media platform and that's specifically designed for traders and in the stock market and crypto asset class. I don't use it, never heard of it. But since he's writing about it, I thought I'd reference that because I'm probably not the only one that's never heard of it. Maybe some of you have. But anyway, XRP USD chart on the screen, and he wrote, this latest move in XRP held at the symmetrical triangle and lower horizontal that Slice users saw a week ago. If we don't get a sharper correction with a lower low, I expect it to move sideways for the rest of the year into January before a final thrust up. Note, this could be a lower degree triangle, allowing for more than one more move up after it breaks out. Okay, so if that's correct, we do need to wait probably a couple more weeks before we start seeing more true fireworks for XRP again, and that's fine. Consolidation is normal. There's nothing weird about that. I know we want to have our Lambos on the moon right now, but it's we are so close. I don't think it freaking matters. Like, I've been waiting 7 years. What's another few weeks to see it start moving again, if that is indeed what happens. And also, as far as this being the final thrust up, he's not convinced that's the case. It's just something. It's obviously an idea that he's playing with here. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was another analyst I follow, a chart analyst, goes by the name Dr. Magic. I believe he's the one that was saying it's possible we only see one more leg up, but he needs to see additional price to action to analyze the charts and then come to a firm conclusion about that, and he articulated why. So that's at least a couple that are saying it's possible we only get one more leg up, but even they aren't convinced of that. And from a historical perspective, that would be peculiar because the last couple cycles, XRP's had a couple major bursts at the beginning of each cycle, moved sideways, and then later another major rocket, and it took like half a year for each of those, roughly. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm going on this journey with you. Like, we're going to find out together, right? We're going to find out together. But either way, all of these analysts are anticipating all-time high for XRP, price discovery, and the vast majority of the analysts that I follow, and by the way, all of them were calling this move for XRP to break out. Almost all of them are saying double-digit price action is what's most probable. So just take it for what it's worth here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.